Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Danny Dumas, and this is the Earn Your Title podcast. Last week, I shared with you my trip where me and my wife left on a cruise, and we left our 16-year-old son alone with his two sisters for a couple days, and then he was by himself for another 6 days. If that's interesting to you, please go check it out. Which, that led me to what today's topic is going to be, and it's the 3 getaways that I think every husband, every father, and really every leader should be taking, I think on an annual basis, but at least, every other year or so. So let's talk about those three getaways. The first getaway, and this is the easiest. This is your family vacation. Now, I don't want, if you're listening to this and you just currently can't get away from work, you don't have pay time off, it's okay. You are doing what you're supposed to do. I realize that this is a luxury. This is a bonus, but it's something if you can try, even if it's just, for a weekend. I think it's important to step away from your work and to take your family and have experiences. This doesn't have to be expensive. I have spent a lot of time sleeping in a tent so that I could go somewhere cool and afford it because I just didn't have the money for hotels or Airbnbs. And we slept in a tent. We slept on the ground or on a mat on the ground. And it was awesome. My kids, my daughter today, she asked me, Dad, when are we going to go camping? I'm like, we're going to go on a trip this summer out west. It's going to be fun. We're going to see lots of outdoor stuff. She goes, no, when are we going camping? I want to sleep in a tent. It's cool. And while it might not be cool for you to sleep in a tent, your kids are going to appreciate that, to be in like a wilderness atmosphere and, just to get up and not worry, for kids not to have to take a shower. That's their dream, right? They just want to be dirty. You can do it, and you need to get away. A few things that I think can help try to not just think about going on vacation. Like we just got back from a cruise, very cool, very enjoyable, very easy. And I could see doing another one, but to me, like getting something that's novel and maybe there's some benefits of doing the same thing over and over and over again because you get traditions, but I think doing things different and going to different places would be awesome. I know a family every year for like 20 years, they went to Hawaii. Every year that was the vacation. And while that is cool, and I would love to go to Hawaii, I think doing it over and over and over again is maybe the easy way out. So one way to make your family getaway is to make it unique. Go do something different. Last year we went out east. We did Gettysburg, which I was I wasn't so sure how much they'd like it. It was great. I don't know how much they enjoyed the Civil War part, but the walking around, and we went on a ghost tour, it was cool. We saw Washington, D.C., we saw Philadelphia, we saw New York, and then we finished in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. All really unique stuff that we had never done. This year, we're going to go out west. We're going to go see to Jackson Hole, to Yellowstone, to Zion and Bryce, and who knows. I think it's important to mix it up. I want them to experience as much of the world as they can. The United States is a great country with so much to offer. Get out there and do it. Now, one thing that, looking back in my life, one thing that my parents did is they would do small, surprising things. I remember the one trip, I think we're going to Florida. We were headed to Florida and we kind of took a detour. I didn't know where we were going. My dad stopped at Toys R Us and my dad bought us a Game Boy. That was probably 35 years ago, maybe. I still remember that. It was novel. It was unique. One thing now, my kids don't know that I have this rule because I don't want them to abuse it. But when we're on vacation, if they say, Dad, can we get ice cream? I say yes. Every single time. I don't know if they've caught on to that, but if they say, can we have ice cream or can we go to Starbucks? If I'm on vacation, I say yes. Every single time. It kind of was a problem. This last one, my daughter, my youngest, the 7-year-old, liked Frappuccinos from Starbucks. So when she came back, she's like, Dad, can we get Frappuccinos? I'm like, no, that's not going to be once a day or hopefully not even once a week thing. But just say yes. When me and my dad would go hunting, when I was little, I liked Skittles. To this day, my dad will buy me a bag of Skittles if we're going on a trip. I guess I still like Skittles. It's a great snack, but I haven't, loved Skittles in a really long time. But he did something individual to make it special for me. So make it special for your kids. If it's just a weekend, if it's going camping, If it's, just a staycation where you turn off your phones, do something where you can spend quality time with your kids, because the time you have goes so fast. So fast. My 16-year-old will be 17 this summer. He'll be entering his senior year, and I don't know for sure if I'll get one more summer vacation. He goes away to college, he gets a job. I don't know. So go all out. On the financial side, one thing that I've done is I had an investment account, and from 20 to probably 30 or so, I contributed to it pretty heavily. And I am using that money right now to take these vacations, to maybe step it up a little bit and go do something that I wouldn't normally do, pay for this special experience. Now, if I let that money keep growing, it would be good for retirement. But what I've learned is that you don't get promised 90, right? You don't get promised to be 80. You don't really, 70 is doing good, right? If you're a man. So spend some money, and it's totally worth it. So that is getaway number 1. Get away with your family. Getaway number 2, and I'm going to go from probably easiest to do to hardest to do. Number 2 is get away from your kids. It's going to be okay. And now for me, this is not a problem. I actually go to work. I work a 24-hour shift. Sometimes I'll work 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row. So me being gone 3 or 4 days, is not crazy. So I was joking. I was working yesterday overtime actually. And me and my buddy that were working together, we both think that we're better fathers because we leave 10 days a month. We get that little bit of a break. But for your wife, this is going to be important. Get away from your kids. And the sooner the better. I know, that first year is not going to happen. The second year is not going to happen. And this is very dependent on having family. And again, I realize I'm blessed. Not everybody's blessed to have a support system where you could leave your kids with you don't want to leave them with strangers. But I think when my son was 3 years old, me and my wife went to Puerto Rico for 4 days. We left him with my family, and he's okay. He survived. My wife survived. There was a little bit of guilt, the mom guilt. Some of these ladies are pretty mean. Like, you're going to leave your kid? Yeah, I'm going to leave it. We left him with my mom and my sisters and his cousins, and it was totally fine. You don't want your kid to only know that you can solve all their problems. And that can start when they're young. It can be overnight. Go on an overnight date. For us, Detroit is about 45 minutes away. Go to Detroit, go to your local big city, watch a show, go see a sports game, spend the night. It's one night. Do it. Get away from your kids. One, it's good for you and your spouse to remember, oh, we're married. I think you're pretty. I think I'm attracted to you. You're not their mom. You're my wife. That's important. And really, philosophically, that should always be your stance. And that is your wife first, and then it's their mom second, because she's going to be your wife a lot longer than she is the caretaker mom. Now, she's obviously going to be your kid's mother forever, but the caretaker part, that is a finite period of time. At least it should be. And if you're raising your kids and you're providing the tools they need, and if you don't know what those tools are, listen to my podcast from last week. They should be moving on. And I think a lot of people get to that, 18-year mark in their marriage, 20-year mark, 25-year mark when they've had kids. Now the kids are gone, and they look across the way and they think, I don't know this person. That's my kid's wife, or that's my kid's mom. That's not my wife. So by getting away and doing something fun, like dating, you remind yourself continually. Now, we haven't been able to do this every year where this last trip was 6 days. We haven't been able to do that every year. But 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. The most we've ever been gone was 10 days. It's good. It improves your relationship. You need to do this. Do this for your kids. As important it is for your relationship with your spouse, do it for your kids so they know that they can be okay without you. You really don't want them to look at you and think you are the sole carrier of all the world's problems, that you have all the world's answers, because they're never going to figure it out on their own. Us being able to leave my son was just awesome. So leave your kids. I think one of the reasons we were able to leave my son and daughters was because we've left them before when they were little and they were okay. And then maybe they're a little bit older and we left and they're like, oh, mom and dad are gone. I'm not stressed out about it. I know some families, some friends of mine who have never left their kids more than 12 hours. And I'm telling you, it's worth it. As much stress and anxiety. And if you don't believe me, just try it for 6 hours, then try 12, then go 24, then 36, 48, keep adding to it. They're going to be okay. They are going to be okay. So the second getaway is get away from your kids. And this is the last one and maybe the most important, depending on your job and how you kind of see the world, is to get away from everybody. Now, I haven't been able to do get away from everybody annually. When I go hunting, I kind of feel like this is part of getting away from everybody because I'll go hunting and while I might be with a group of people, I spend a considerable amount of time by myself. But I have spent times in my life, 2 or 3, 4 days, where I just get away from everybody. And it was funny. I was telling my wife what this podcast was going to be about. She's like, you can say wife. I'm like, no, it's everybody, kids. She's like, it's your wife. Like, it is, but it truly is everybody. I think getting alone and actually having silent time, lots of it, putting your device down so you're not connected to the world, there's something important about that. Every time in my life where I have gone away, and I like to be outside, I'll go camping, I just come back with a better plan, a better goal. I feel like this podcast came out of a period of time where I spent some time by myself, where I was lonely, and that's an okay thing. Where I was bored, and that's an okay thing. I separated myself from the whole world, got off social media, got off my phone, got away from my family, and just truly had a chance to be alone. If you can up that and be in nature, even better. Not everybody's a camper. Go get a small cabin by a lake and just be by yourself. You will be a better husband, you'll be a better father, and you'll be a better leader. I truly believe this. I can look back on my 20 years of marriage and 45 years of life, and having these periods of time of solitude, of reflection, a chance to plan, a chance to think, a chance to realize that I've messed up and like what led me to messing up. Because if you're a good dad, you're spending your time, you're going to games, you're going to plays, you're going to practices, you're coming home and you're engaging with your kids, you're helping with homework, you're doing all these things, you're giving a lot. And that's what you should be doing. If you're coming home from work and you're sitting on the couch, drinking a beer and not paying any attention to your family, I think you're failing. If that is you, give yourself, plan something. You're going to go away and you're going to come back and you're going to be changed. You're going to change your mind, change your thinking, because we should be engaged. But the only way that you can like pour into your family and give that time, give that effort, is if you're full. And if we're constantly giving, we have nothing. At some point, we're going to have nothing left to give. If you're constantly at work and you have all this stress and all this responsibility, that's pulling stuff out of you. Having a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days of just relaxing and solitude and quiet fills you back up. And now for some of you, like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And other of you, like, I can't imagine spending this much time by myself. Try one day. You don't have to take vacation time. Take a Saturday morning and come back Sunday morning. Just go get a hotel room somewhere, turn off the TV, walk around the city, do something, get away, and just see if it works. If it doesn't, then I was wrong. Skip it. Don't ever do it again. I think you're going to find some value in that. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I think it's a very simple idea, but it's an important idea. It is something that has benefited my life. If you are listening to this, in the past, I've asked for things. I've asked you to leave me a rating and review. I've asked you to reach out and contact me. I have a new ask. I have developed a talk, and I think this would be very relevant for men's ministries or men's groups. If you have a men's ministry or men's group at your church or through some organization, and you would be interested in hearing what I have to say, it has to do with being manly and obviously becoming a better husband and father and leader, I want to try out this talk. So I am offering 3 groups. I want to come to your men's ministry, your men's group, and I want to present this talk about the 3 things every man needs to do to be successful in this world. And I want to do that free of charge. And now, if you're within 100 miles of where I live in the Metro Detroit area of Michigan, I'll drive there free of charge. If it's further and I'd have to travel, I would just ask that you cover my travel expenses and put me up in some room that has a roof over my head, maybe a tent if it was, really pretty. And I'd like to give this speech. So if that's you, if you're that guy, you've got that organization, reach out to me. My email is danny@dannydumas.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I really appreciate you listening. Again, my name is Danny Dumas, and this is the Earn Your Title podcast, and I will talk to you later.